Magandang gabi po uli sa inyong lahat. Welcome to our Friday episodes, Find Your Greatness. This is Jeff Chua again, your host, the President and CEO of CycleHouse. And we are not just only a motorcycle and bike franchising business. We are also here giving back and giving inspiration to a lot of people. And we're now down to our last 6 episodes, and we are so grateful because we have garnered around 200,000 viewers already for the last 20 plus episodes. At nagpapasalamat kami sa Carl Balita for accepting us to be one of the shows. And of course, yung sa mga followers ng CycleHouse, for those who are watching all over the world, nakita namin Saudi Arabia, iba't ibang bansa, sa Mindanao, umaabot ang aming podcast. And kami po nagagalak dahil ginagawa namin ito is just to give you an insight, an inspiration, a new perspective on how to live life. And of course, since marami nanonood dito na gustong mag-business, you know what? Ang pagbe-business, pwede naman yan para sa lahat. Pero kailangan ready ka as a leader. Kasi leadership is very important in business. Hindi lang po yan na benta-benta. Hindi lang puro yung marketing yan. Makikita ninyo, leadership counts. Makikita mo, if you see a successful business, tingnan mo yung leadership doon. Doon mo makikita yon. And hopefully, if you watch all of our episodes, more of maraming psychological tips, di ba? Very important yung psychology kasi. Sabi nga ni Tony Robbins, business is 80% psychological. Sabi niya, it's purely psychological. Kasi dapat, alam mo, business, uncertain yan, rewarding, but at the same time, maraming pagsubok. But you can still make success sa business. But of course, again, 80%, it's all psychological. Managing those anxiety, managing the way you see things, managing your emotions. Tapos 20% actually is the mechanical, yung sinasabi ni Tony Robbins. When we say mechanical, yung mga processes, which we could learn a lot from books, internet, lectures, and trainings. But 80%, it's psychological. Kaya if you see a successful business, there's a strong leader with a strong psychology, meaning he knows how to manage his emotions, how to see things correctly, rational. All right? Like facing your fear, overcoming those fears, overcoming those frustrations. Kaya namin binuo tong Find Your Greatness kasi alam namin maraming nanonood na gustong mag-business. Marami na hong pumapasok, marami na hong buwabate from Carl Balita and CycleHouse. Good evening po. Ang ganda ng ating topic for tonight. Alam nyo po, simula bata tayo, palaging pinupukpok sa atin ng mga teacher natin at ating mga magulang. Good job, perfect. Dapat perfect. Kaya ayun, pagdating ng pagtanda, hindi pa naman pala totoo sa totoong buhay ang perfection, di ba? Wala akong perfection. Mamaya po, gagamitin ko yung pag-aaral na ginawa ni Dr. David Burns. Isa pong sikat sa buong mundo na psychiatrist na sinulat niya yung librong Feeling Good. We will get some materials doon. Marami tayong mga from Carl Balita, yung mga nag-aaral ng board exam. Scientific reasoning, di ba? Very important sa atin yan. I'm also an eye doctor. Pag-aaralan natin yung kanyang studies on perfectionism, how it can hold you back in terms of your success, how it can contribute sa anxiety mo, and I'll tell you cases after cases on how, why, and I will argue with you na maybe it's not the right path to go in terms of thinking na perfection. Dapat siguro ang realistic is progress. So mamaya yung pag-uusapan natin, that's the first topic. Di ba? Going for progress rather than perfection. So yun yung po, baka mamaya anxious yung iba. Yung mga ibang gusto mag-business, by the way, ang business po, uncertain. Minsan, merong curveball, ibig sabihin, hindi mo malaman ang merkado. But again, rewarding ang business, masarap mag-business. Pero yun nga lang, dapat you have to be ready psychologically. And yun nga yun. Sometimes yung mga ibang nagbe-business, we have franchisees. Perfectionist. Mahirap po yun. Kasi like ang market, ang bike market, motorcycle market, Like any market, unpredictable yan. Yung pagmamanagement ng tindahan, day to day, unpredictable. Sometimes, your people will make a mistake. Sometimes, kaming CycleHouse will make a mistake. We all make mistakes. And sometimes, if you don't know how to handle them, you're not realistic, pwede ka masyadong ma-disappoint. Then you lose focus. You lose, what do you call this, the motivation to run the business. Not knowing that is the real scenario in any business. I've been with the biggest mall. I've been with the biggest milk company in the world, biggest pharma company. Araw-araw may inaayos and that gets you up in the morning. Yun yung kailangan maintindihan ng mga gusto mag-business. Yung mga OFW na nakikinig dito, wag ho kayo matakot. Hindi ho masisira ang negosyo sa isang pagkakamali, dalawang pagkakamali. Hindi yan. Nakita natin, mati nga yung biggest mall na pinagtrabahuan ko, SM. May mga pagkakamali yan, pero inaayos sila. You keep on improving. It's not realistic to have a perfectionist thinking. Hindi po ano yun. Tsaka unfair din sa inyo. You're putting yourself in a lot of pressure. So maganda yung pag-uusapan natin. And then, ito yung exciting. Second half of the talk, around 7:30, we have a special guest. I am so excited. He is my former boss. Ito yung boss na nakita ko kung paano yung strategic thinking. Yan. So marami tayong matutunan. He's a former general manager of a big pharma company in Vietnam. So big time talaga to. Matindi yung leadership nito. Alamin natin, ano ba yung mga pinagdaanan niya? Paano niya na-develop itong leadership strength nito? Yung transformation niya. Tayong mga bata na nakikinig dyan, tayo na nakikisama ako. Yung sa mga batang nakikinig dyan sa CycleHouse, FB page at Carl Balita, please listen in. Yung sa mga OFWs na gusto mag-business, please listen in para malaman natin what does it take ba talaga in terms of leadership para maging successful. O yan, si Sir Angel from Las Piñas, palagi nanonood. Hello po, boss. Thank you for watching. So marami tayong matutunan sa kanya kasi he's been into managing big businesses. So malalaman natin mamaya. Alright? So for the meantime, trabaho muna kami. Give us for 7 minutes because this is sponsored by CycleHouse. Before we give back, we give you free inspiration, free learnings. Mag-a-advertise muna kami. Pagbigyan niyo po muna kami for just around 7 minutes. Tawagin ko lang ang aking co-host, Miss Gilani.
Hi, sir. Good evening po.
Hello, good evening. Gilani, please tell us some marketing updates. Iwan muna kita, ha?
Yes,
Go
sir.
ahead.
Ayan, good evening po mga kalodi. Bale, mag-update lang po tayo sa ating mga dumating na products. Ngayon po makikita natin sa ating screen na dumating na po ang ating mga low-end parts. By this week, madidistribute po siya sa ating mga CycleHouse branches. Then makikita din po natin itong mga low-end parts natin sa naka-CycleHouse packaging, our own products is madidistribute na rin po sa ating mga branches nationwide. Motorcycle and bike products po ito, sir. Mga ma'am. Then, for ating maintenance check, motorcycle supplies, meron po tayong iba't ibang products. Galing po sa ating VS1. Meron po tayong iba't ibang sizes. Then, makikita rin po sa ating screen itong mga SRP. Then, meron ding Yamalube, Shell, and Mototech products. Meron din po tayong Castrol, Shell, and Repsol. Then, ang kagandahan po sa ating CycleHouse branches, meron po tayong 14-point check na ginagawa sa ating mga branches para po ma-maintain po natin ang mga ating motor and bike na hindi po ito masisira agad. Machi-check po ng ating mga mekaniko yung mga dapat pa nating ipaayos. Then, meron din po tayong mga motorcycle services. Ayan, makikita po natin sa ating screen at ibang-ibang presyo. Then, for ating bicycle services, then para po sa ating mga branches nationwide, sa NCR po, meron po tayong branch sa Batasan, Quezon City. Dito po sa Gabriel na Botas, Lower Bicutan, Taguig, meron din po tayo sa Mayon. Then for our North Luzon, meron po tayong Bantug Norte, Cabanatuan City, Calasiao, Pangasinan, Lower Bonifacio, Baguio City, Mangaldan, Pangasinan. Para sa ating South Luzon naman, meron tayong Atimonan, Quezon, Magallanes, Cavite, Pasong, Camatchile, then many more. Sa Visayas naman po, Kalinog, sa Mindanao, Upper Camen, CDO, and may mga soon to open branches po tayo. Then para po sa ating mga gustong mag-business, mag-open ng franchising, meron po tayong free franchise business orientation every Monday to Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. po siya. Pwede rin naman po tayong mag-visit sa ating main office. Nasa screen po yung pinaka-address. Then contact number naman po para sa mga gustong tumawag for orientation.
All right. Thank you, Jilani. And Jilani, I know you will be giving away some prizes. Ano ba yung mga panalunan ng mga viewers ngayong gabi?
Bali, sir, meron po tayo dito. Helmet Hicks. Ito po siya. Pwede po siyang pang-babae. May visor po siya for MTD users, mga kalodi. Yan. Then, meron
Bagay sa
din po
lipstick
tayong...
mo eh.
Yes, sir. Pinatner ko po talaga,
pinartner.
sir.
Sige. So, yun
Then,
yung ating mga panalunan. Ano pa?
Meron po tayong hand pump, Gio. Para po
Yan.
sa ating mga
Very
kalodi na
useful.
nagbabike to work. Yan, hindi na po natin kailangan huminto sa mga services para hindi po tayo malate sa ating trabaho. Yan.
Very practical yan. Kailangan na kailangan. Meron pa?
Then, yung meron po tayong lady bike, yun din, prices din natin po siya ngayon. Then, ano po siya, lady bike with basket po siya. Then, for commuters din ginagamit. Then, pang malapitang biyahe po siya.
Paano manalo, Miss Jilani?
Para po manalo ng ating prizes for tonight, like, comment, and share lang po ng ating podcast for tonight.
Ayan, so i-announce ating mga lodi natin sa CycleHouse at sa mga followers ng Carl Balita. May chance ulit tayo manalo Again, kung paano makukuha yung items, dito po nagkakaroon ng confusion or minsan may logistics issue, pasensya na po. What you call this, ipi-PM kayo, pa-private message po kayo ng ating marketing. Pwedeng hukunin sa aming branch or sa pinakamalapit na branch. Kung malayo, pag-usapan na lang natin kung paano kukunin. Tapos, kung may problem yung item, pwede yung ibalik na lang, papalitan na lang po natin. Alright? So, ganun lang po. Please type in your name, kung taga saan kayo. At the same time, please answer ano yung magiging learning ninyo for tonight. Diba? Doon sa topic ko or probably yung sa topic mamaya. Alright? So, si Jilini mamaya will announce who will be the winner of the bike and yung mga magagandang accessories na yan. For the meantime, let's start our topic for the day. Going for progress rather than perfection. Alright, so I hope mag-work. Nawala yung share screen ko, Miss Jazz, hindi ko kasalanan yan. Nawala. So sandali, biglang nagkaroon tayo ng technical glitch. Pero simulan ko na, tanungin ko sa inyo, meron bang pagkakataon yung bang nag-i-start ka ng career mo or mag-i-start ka ng business mo, you always felt this way, yung bang parang hindi ka pa prepared for that new journey, 'di ba? Lahat tayo may ganung feeling, 'di ba? Just nakikita na ba? Nag-share na ba? Just can you give me a signal?
Yes po, sir.
All right, yun. So that's our topic for tonight, going for progress rather than perfection. Ang una kong tanong, sigurado ako, pinagdaanan nyo dahil dumaan din ako dyan, or ngayon, baka pinagdadaanan ninyo, yung bang feeling na parang hindi ka pa prepared. Probably a new career, new business, or life in general, di ba? Ako, I would remember, mamaya makakausap ko yung former boss natin, I had the chance to be a supervisor. Sometimes you feel unprepared, you're doubting yourself, pero gusto mo ma-promote, pero you have that feeling, di ba? Or yung iba dito, marami nanonood, nagulat kami, marami mga employees na nag-sign up to have a CycleHouse business. Ito yung mga, gusto ko nang mag-business, pero for the last 3 years, hindi mo pa rin ginagawa. Bakit ba? Di ba? Or life in general, di ba? Probably, you wanna get married, you wanna go into a relationship, or you wanna move in to a different house, to be more mature. But sometimes you don't feel prepared, di ba? Palagi may ganun ata tayong feeling. So, I'll explore natin ngayong gabi, ano nga ba itong pinanggagalingan na feeling na ito? Ano ba itong challenges natin? Alright? Before we talk about the disadvantages of perfectionism, this is my tip to you. Kasi ako, I have been a person, as much as possible, in my corporate career, when I graduated in 2000, as nag-work ako, preparation for me is key. Alright? We still have a responsibility. Let's have that in concrete. No? Importante po yan. Sabi nga ni Coach Bobby Knight, is a successful coach in the US, the will to succeed is important, but what is more important, sabi niya, is the will to prepare. Kasi yun yung pinaka-controllable mo. Alright? Dapat natin mapagkasunduan yan. Preparation will always be important. Preparation is key for success, sabi nga dito, no? Before anything else, sabi ni Alexander Graham Bell. But, ito yung but, di ba? Di ba yung sa mga nag-board exam sa Carl Balita, di ba? Maski anong prepare mo, minsan talaga, yung iba hindi pinagpapala. Alam natin yan, di ba? So, ito yung pag-uusapan natin ngayong gabi. Going for progress rather than perfection. According to Dr. David Burns, he's a famous psychiatrist. He wrote a book, Feeling Good. It's a great book. It studies on a lot of things. Things that gets people depressed, frustrated, disappointed, and somehow limits their happiness. So sabi niya, the man's ultimate illusion is actually, sabi niya sa kanya, galing yung term na yan, is perfection. Sabi nga niya, it simply does not exist in the universe. If you are perfectionist, you are guaranteed to be a loser in whatever you do. Wow, bigat nun, ha? Ito yung sinasabi niya. Everything can be improved if you look at it closely and critically enough. Every person, idea, work of art, every experience, everything can be improved rather than having this unrealistic, perfectionist mindset. Di ba? Ang dilemma, when we were in school, yan palagi ang pinupukpok, di ba? That's where we celebrate perfection. But we all know, in the real life, doon natin nalalaman. Nasa work ka, maski anong sipag mo, maski anong galing mo, maski anong bait mo, sometimes you get fired. Di ba? Or sometimes nagbabawas ang tao ng company, then you get depressed. Why? Kasi perfectionist yung ating mindset. When you have a business, feeling mo, uy, etong business na to, mukhang okay. Pero doon mo malalaman, may challenges. Like any other businesses, there's nothing perfect. Di ba? Yan ang mahirap. Yung sometimes, yung psychology natin ang sumisira sa ating diskarte sa buhay. There's nothing perfect. Everything in our lives can be improved. Yun yung ina-argue ni Dr. David Burns. So pag-usapan pa natin. Ito yung problem. Perfectionism can lead to inaction. Hindi ka na gumagalaw kasi you want things to be perfect, di ba? Hintay ka nang hintay, you procrastinate, di ba? You tendency to wait. And sometimes it leads to unnecessary disappointment. Takot ka mag-fail, di ba? You delay a lot of things. Now, this is an issue because God gave us talent, but sometimes we are too perfectionist, we are afraid to try out new things. Yun yung sinasabi ni Dr. David Burns. And sometimes this unrealistic standard, it's pushing us to stop. So ako, I have a lot of corporate executives na nag-onboard sa franchising or mga narinig ko sa ibang businesses. Minsan nahihirapan mag-business. Why? Akala nila perfect lahat ng system. Wala pong ganun. Maski nga kami sa malalaking company, continuously finifix yan. Doon sila nakikita ko, nahihirapan. Kasi ang business, you have to navigate. Learn to navigate. Yan ang sinabi ng vice chair ng boss ko from SM. Learn to navigate the market. Wala siyang perfect map. You have to navigate. Kaya dapat importante yung belief nung isang magbi-business. And yun yung maganda, if you go into franchising, yun yung benefit. We give you the tips, the system, but of course there are still a lot of problems. Hindi po yan perfect ibig sabihin. Hindi yan error proof. Meron pa rin challenges yan along the way kasi nagde-develop pa yung market, nagde-develop yung competition, you have to adapt. So very important yung partnership between a franchisee and franchisor. Now, if you do your own business, then you do it all alone. Up to you. Pwede naman. Pero dapat ready ka. Kasi doon, walang mag-guide talaga sa'yo. Kaya sinasabi sa pag-aaral in franchising, those who are franchising has increased 90% success rate because tinuturuan na, may guidance. Alright? So, it's really a matter. So, a matter of kung ano yung gusto mo. Diba? Kung own business or franchise business. But the same is true for everyone. If you are so perfectionist, you will always be in the losing end. Why? Hindi kasi siya realistic. You improve every day, sabi nga ni Dr. David Burns. Alright? So, ito yung magandang binigay pa niyang tip. Pag winay mo raw yung advantages and disadvantages of perfectionism, dadaanan lang natin to panandalian. Tingnan mo yung advantages ng perfectionism. It produces fine work. Wala namang masama dyan. Di ba? Exceptional result. But, ito yung disadvantage. Ito yung but. Kasi alam naman natin, hindi palagi yung perfect. It will make you tight and nervous. And sometimes, it can hold you back in doing fine work. Number 2, you are so afraid, unwilling to take unnecessary risks. Di ba? Palagi kang takot. It can make you very critical of yourself. Kaya sometimes di mo na na-enjoy yung ginagawa mo. Alright? Number 4, hindi ka relax. Palagi kang self-critical sa sarili mo or minsan critical ka sa mga ibang kasama mo. Number 5, ito yung disadvantage ng pagiging sobrang perfect palagi. You will always feel depressed. Yan ang problema. Kasi iniisip mo, I can never be perfect. Number 6, yun nga, palagi kang intolerant of others. palagi kang busit, galit ka sa ibang tao, di ba? Kasi hindi mo naiintindihan na sometimes things are not perfect, di ba? Siyempre, yun nga, if you are too much into perfectionism, sometimes you tend not to try new things. And these new things are innovation that can somehow make you successful. Yung bang ma-reinvent mo yung iyong pagkatao, ang iyong career, o ang iyong business. Why? Kasi you're so focused on business, on being perfect. And sometimes it can bore you to death, di ba? And sometimes, sobrang bored ka, it can make you restless. So marami rin ako mga kilalang ganyan. Minsan mga malalapit ko sa buhay na doon na lang sila. Stick na lang sila doon sa isang corner. And sometimes, baka mamaya, maiksi lang ang buhay, tanungin ka ng Diyos, anong ginawa mo sa talent na binigay ko sa'yo? Tapos pangalawa, baka marami kang regrets na hindi mo tinry. And usually, nanggagaling yan sa pag-iisip na perfectionism. Alright? Beware about this thing, this psychology, negative psychology. Saan magaling itong perfectionism na to? It is driven, according to Dr. David Burns, by fear. Ito yung mga silent assumptions na nasa loob ng isip natin na hindi natin napag-uusapan. Feeling natin, ito yung mga fear. Isang mali can have my career and business. Baksak na. Diba? May ganun kami minsan franchisee. Grabe yung pagka-emotion. Nagalit yung customer, mali yung nabigay niyang product, o and then sisihin kami or tao niya, whatever. Feeling niya, babaksak na, malulugi na. Sa isang mali, malulugi business. Meron bang ganun? Di ba? Minsan may isang buwan lang na hindi maganda benta, magkapanik na. Hindi po ganun yun. Ang business, long-term po yan. These are silent assumptions. We have to manage our psychology. We have to master our psychology. Di ba? Minsan sa exam, may baksak, or minsan may mga project na minsan not that good. Di ba? It will happen. And sometimes you are driven by fear. Number 2, silent assumption. Sometimes, feeling mo, pag hindi ka perfect, maraming mga api sa'yo. These are things that drives us to be perfect. Itong fear, sabi ni Dr. David Burns. Now, ito yung tip niya. So, this is one of the tips lang. Replace this automatic thoughts of fear to more rational response. Number 1, daanan lang natin panandilian. I didn't do an excellent job on the paper. Ano yung rational, di ba, may ganun tayong fear. Naku, di yata maganda yung project na sinabit ko. Ano yung rational response? Yung all or nothing thinking is a cognitive distortion. Yung maling pag-iisip. Ito pwede mong isipin, the paper is pretty good enough. Pretty good even though it's not perfect. Baka naman maganda naman si David maski hindi ganun perfect. The professor will notice all the typos. Ayan, takot na takot ka na, di ba? Minsan ganun tayo. Number 2, baka naman man-notice niya, pero marami naman magandang na doon ka sa sinulat, di ba? Yun yung rational response. Di ba? Yun yung mga importante na minsan iniisip natin, naku, baka babaksak ako. I'll get a D or an F on the paper. Tingnan mo to. Ano yung rational response? Hindi pa nga lumalabas yung papel, inuhulaan mo na babaksak. You see, it's really psychology. We have to master them. That sometimes, hindi na rational yung mga iniisip natin. These are based on emotions and fears. Diba? And sometimes, it is holding us back. So from these automatic thoughts, the suggestion of Dr. David Burns is to come up with a rational response. Baka yun naman hindi. Diba? So, another tip na binibigay niya para ma-overcome natin itong perfectionism is develop a process orientation. Ito tinuturo ko na before sa other podcast. Instead of focusing on the outcome, for example, yung mga magbo-board exam, or for example, yung mga magbe-business ng CycleHouse, ayan, yung mga ibang franchise owner na nanood o yung gustong mag-apply ng CycleHouse franchise, huwag kayo masyadong focus sa benta or sa grade ninyo kung yung mga mag-exam ng board exam. Rather, sabi ni Dr. David Burns, focus kayo sa process on how to somehow influence the result. Mas maganda yung chances na pumasa ka. For example, mag-aral ka araw-araw. Be organized in your subjects, in the topics that you want to undertake. Be organized in the questions na pwedeng lumabas dun sa board exam, di ba? Focus on the process kasi those are the things that controllable mo. Yung sa mga gusto mag-business, ito sinasabi namin sa mga franchisees, gamitin nyo yung excellent store management. It will help you, guide you to have a better revenue at the end of the month. Why? Ano ba yung nasa checklist? Doing customer service, doing merchandise, doing marketing. Focus on the process. Yung iba po, sobrang focus sa revenue kagad. Kung pag-aaralan mo, bakit babaksak ang revenue? Dahil mali-mali nga yung ginagawa sa process. Kailangan pa may ma-improve. Di ba? Yun yung tip natin. Sa buhay naman, ganun eh. Process orientation. Di ba? Very critical. Hindi po yan, pag nagbukas yan tindahan, boom! Hindi. In any business management, you have to oversee the processes. Ano ba yung mga activities na kailangan gawin in order for you to achieve the specific sales goal. Alright? I'm about to end my talk. Sabi din ni Dr. David Burns, ito naman daw yung upside ng mistake. Or here's a case study. You know what? How big is Facebook right now? It has more than 1 billion followers. Or why? Yan ang secret ni Mark Zuckerberg. Yung overcoming perfectionism. Alam mo, ang mantra niya sa company, move fast and break things. Diba? Sabi niya, unless you're breaking stuff, you're not moving that fast. Kaya kami sa CycleHouse, we want to do a lot of things. We want to invent. We're not afraid to make mistakes because inevitably, ganyan talaga yan. It's part of the process of building the business. Yun po ang mga tips eh. Yun din po ang reality talaga. Sabi nga ni Jeff Bezos of Amazon, ito po sa kanan, if you double the number of experiments, meaning experiment, it can fail, it can pass, who knows, right? You do per year, you're going to double your inventiveness. Doon ka makakakuha ng mga innovations. Kaya kayo po, yung mga nanood, in your personal life, in your career, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be too perfectionist that sometimes you're not trying out, you're not risking enough for you to see what is the success in front of you. Kasi you're playing too safe. You are too perfectionist, di ba? And sometimes you're missing the adventure. Yun yung sinasabi ni Dr. David Burns. Run through tayo ng some upside of mistakes, di ba? Counterintuitive, di ba? Ito yung upside of mistakes. One mistake does not ruin everything. Normal po yan. Actually, hindi ka matututo. Sabi nga dito, kung hindi ka nagkakamali, totoo po yun. Kami po, somehow, we are now close to 100 branches and we're delivering a lot of sales. But kung hindi kami nagkamali, hindi ako nagkamali in the future. Until now, nagkakamali ako, we correct them. Kaya we ask the franchisees let us correct our mistakes. Ganon din kami sa inyo. If you make mistake, we will allow you to correct them. Kasi that's the reality. Wala kang mabibuild the business if you're too perfectionist. Ayusin na lang, di ba? Basta as long as we're committed. Number 3, recognizing our mistakes allow us to change our behavior. Di ba? Pag nalaman mo, mali ako dun parang mali approach ko. You change that. If you fear mistakes, sabi ni Dr. David Burns, we become paralyzed. Alright? Most people aren't going to be mad at us. Di ba? Minsan, kala natin, baka magalit sila, pero actually, they too make mistakes, di ba? And sometimes, mas nagiging comfortable nga sila sa iyo if they see you as a human. And last, ito palagi iniisip ko, we don't die if we make mistakes. Alright? These are the upside of mistakes. Whenever you are so afraid of trying new things because you don't want to make a mistake, because you are too perfectionist, and sometimes, masyado ka ng tensionado, you're so uptight, hindi ka na tuloy nakakapag-perform at the highest, it's affecting your psychology, it's affecting your emotions, di ba? Sometimes you have to relax, di ba? Chill, kumbaga nga, chill lang. Perfectionism is one of man's illusion, greatest illusion, sabi nga ni Dr. David Burns. Go for progress instead. All right? So this is my last slide. Tip, face your fear. It's very important. If you don't face your fear, you won't get the maximum growth that you have in your life. Rather than run from your fear, sabi ni Dr. David Burns, sit still. Sit still. Ako, for me, be still. Know that there's God who loves you, di ba? Who will be there, who will not forsake you, di ba? And confront yung fear na yon. What am I afraid of? Saan ba ako natakot? Di ba? Chill ka lang, sit still. Minsan kasi pa nagpapanik tayo, doon lumulubha ang sitwasyon. Minsan, sa sobrang takot na takot ka, magkamali, perfectionism, magbe-blame ka pa kung ano nung mabe-blame mo. Then you have to prove that. Then minsan wala namang basis. Then you do a lot of stupid things, wrong decisions because of fear. Sit still, know that there's God, 'di ba? Who is in control. What's the worst that could happen, 'di ba? Minsan sobra tayong matatakutin. Minsan we have to pause. Sandali, ano ba yung worst thing na pwedeng mangyari? Tapos magugulat tayo. Ito lang naman pala, 'di ba? So sabi rin Dr. David Burns, enjoy the flow of life. Sa akin, dadagdag ko to. Enjoy it. Have faith. Yun ang pinaka-importante. If you are too perfectionist, you are not relying on God's sovereignty. Di ba? He's in control. And yung pinaka-favorite verse ko ngayon sa James, around chapter 1, persevere. Yung perseverance na yon, it shapes you as a person. Yung mga pagkakamali mo, it shapes you as a leader. And sometimes, nami-miss out mo yun if you blame the situation, other people, whoever, you're not growing, di ba? Hindi ka nag-grow. You can blame a lot of people, you can escape from whatever it is, but still, you're still that type of person. You didn't grow kasi you didn't take ownership of the situation. So yun po yung aking last tip for you in terms of overcoming perfectionism. Try to have a different mindset about it, di ba? Go for progress, everyday improvement. That's a more realistic. Self-love yun. Be realistic, guys. Hindi po tayo perfect. Yung mga gusto magbawas ng timbang, don't go for perfection. One day at a time, bawas ng timbang. Yung sa mga gusto mag-business, try. Huwag kayong maghintay ng perfect na sitwasyon. Wala pong perfect na sitwasyon. Sometimes, you just have to try. Pag na-try mo na, nabuksan mo na yung tindahan, improve the processes day to day. Wala pong one perfect day. No. Sometimes, there will be, but oftentimes, you keep on improving the process until such time. Makikita mo, bubunga na ang iyong efforts, stable na ang sales. That's the reality. That's the reality. Kung may nagsasabi na quick wins, quick balik, medyo matakot po kayo. Hindi po totoo yun. Alright? So that's my tip do sa mga who are young people who want to try out in life. One day at a time, keep on improving yourself. Ang confidence, skills, knowledge, spirituality, di ba? Physical aspect, keep on improving every day, di ba? So that's my tip for you tonight. I hope you learned a lot. If you want to win a lady bike, accessories, please type in ano yung natutunan mo. Di ba? So may mga nagko-comment, mamaya babasahin natin before we have our inspiring topic of the week. So, Monday, magkakasama ulit tayo. We also have a podcast there on sa CycleHouse FB page, yung developing your empowering beliefs for success. It's 7 to 8 Monday. So sana samahan nyo kami. For the meantime, Jillian, tulungan mo lang ako magbasa before we proceed with the inspiring topic of the week. Batiin mo muna yung mga viewers natin. Nakamute ka, ma'am.
Ayan.
O, Jillian, ikaw muna. Jillian, marami ka bang natutunan dun sa going for progress rather than perfection?
Yes, sir. Bale, kasi sir, sa akin dati, lalo na po nung nag-umpisa po ako dito kay CycleHouse, takot na takot po akong magkamali. Then mapagalitan, yung parang mabibigyan ng feedback, nagne-negative po ako dun. Pero nung tumagal naman po ako dito sa CycleHouse, yung behaviors din, natutunan ko rin po dito na dapat welcome po tayo dun. Then wag tayong magfo-focus sa maling nagawa natin. Move forward palagi.
Very good. Galing. Nag-grow ka na talaga, Jillian. Batiin mo muna yung mga ating mga nanonood. Marami ng comments. Daanan mo na lang.
Yes po. Ayan po, good evening po kay RC Mons. Then si Sir De Guzman, yan, good evening daw po. Excited daw po siya this last episode. Then si Ma'am Ira Maria, parang lagi po siya dito. Nanonood po siya sa atin lagi. Then si Ma'am Rachel, yan, good evening daw po. Then shoutout daw kay Kuya Jeff Chua. Si Johnny Tan. Yun, shoutout daw sa iyo, Sir Jeff.
Hello, Johnny, musta?
Then ayan po, maraming naggo-good evening dito sa atin. Then sana manalo daw po ng bike si Sir Jeffrey Ong.
Ayan, share ka lang ng iyong learnings, Sir Jeffrey.
So, ayun
Alright.
sir.
Sige. So, mamaya kay Carl Balita na lang, batiin mo na lang. For the meantime, let's proceed with our inspiring topic of the week. But wait. Segue ko muna. He's a very successful person, corporate executive. I know this person since 2005. 'Di ba? Siya yung, when I was still in rank and file, nakita ko kung paano maging big boss, 'di ba? Paano maging executive, on how to do leadership, on how to do strategic leadership. Doon ko unang narinig yung hanganga ako doon. Well, let's double the business in 5 years, 'di ba? Yun yung may vision talaga na leader, yung top level leadership. So we are so honored this corporate executive experience in pharma and consumer health, and naging general manager to ng iba't ibang bansa. So, yun po. We will have, mamaya, pakilala rin natin, i-walk through natin ng kanyang leadership transformation. I'm quite sure marami tayong matututunan. Ano ba dapat mong daanan na sometimes you just have to be positive. Alright? So, let's start. Inspiring topic of the week. Alright, good evening at we are so happy to have here tonight Sir Rey Dela Cruz. He's a COO of KeepWell Telehealth. Sir Rey, bati ka muna sa ating mga audience tonight.
Hi, Jeff. Good evening. And to all the audience right now watching this live podcast. Maraming salamat po at pinapakita nyo interesado kayo on how to improve yourself and then improve the business and improve the other people.
Oo. Sir Rey, yun po at nagpapasalamat kami. Sobrang taos-puso kami papasalamat kasi alam kong busy-busy ka. Pero binigyan mo kami ng pagkakataon kasi there are a lot of viewers here, lalo na yung mga young people who will really, really benefit from your tips. Kasi you went through it, di ba? Kumbaga, pabalik ka na, kami papunta pa lang. So, daanan mo kami kung ano yung mga experiences mo. Then along the way, siguro, if you wanna introduce yourself more, please do so.
Yes, Jeff, thank you. So for the audience, I've been in the professional career life for the past 35 years. No, so I started when I was 12. No, I'm just kidding. I've been from the ranks. So I rose from the ranks. Started as right there in the front line. No? So my dream was actually to become a doctor. My dream was actually to become a doctor, but eventually I need to make a decision whether I should continue as a doctor or not, because I got somebody pregnant. Okay, so and therefore I have to start early when I was 20 years old. So I decided not to pursue my career as a doctor, but look for a career which is adjacent to what I want in life, which is to bring health to people, and therefore pharmaceuticals was where I started. So at the age of 27, first of all, right now, I mean, the journey of my career is very much fruitful. At the same time, as you mentioned in your talk earlier, a lot of learnings, no, in that journey, a lot of pain points also in that journey, and a lot of realization, which I will share to you. What are those flexion points or turning points, no? So I think I'd like to highlight also that as young people, for those young people, do not be afraid to dream in terms of expanding your responsibility. Meaning to say that you have to also learn how to care for other people, those people who will rely on you, and making sure that you touch their lives positively. So at the age of 27, I was given the task to start and set up a business operation, not in the Philippines, but in Glaxo. You can imagine in 1994, Vietnam was just opening up. So the business conditions in that kind of landscape was totally different than from what we have right now in the Philippines. So startup, setup, starting from zero, setting it
Galing.
up until when I was again asked by another company to help them change strategy or realign strategy and improve the business in 2015. That company, which I started in 1994, belongs to the top three companies already in Vietnam.
Wow.
And the people who I hired in 1994 are general managers of different pharmaceutical companies. And in fact, the
Wow.
GM at the time was the rep I hired in 1994, in 1996. So you can imagine the evolution also. I mean, in terms of really developing your people and really identifying the right people who can help you grow the business. So,
Oo.
uh, it's basically having that ambition in life that you want to improve and touch the lives of other people, but also making sure that during the journey, whether you're in pharmaceutical, nutritional, or healthcare, you will have the same principles that you will adhere to that will allow you to make sure that you'll be able to deliver the business.
Oh,
Uh,
Boss Ray, ano yung nasa, sorry to cut you off. Ito yung picture na galing kang sa Vietnam. Just i-ano mo lang para
yes.
makwento niya. Ano ho ito? Ano ito yung first day mo ba yan? Yan yung sa
No, no.
Vietnam. How old were you? How old were you yung back then?
Yeah, 27 years old.
Wow,
27 years
grabe.
old, and you were basically starting up one of the biggest pharma company in the whole world. So imagine when I enter the meeting rooms at that time, you will see the other players in the industry coming from different countries. These are 40 years old, 50 years old, and here you are, a Filipino, interacting with them at the age of 27. So at that time, my hair was completely black.
How was it, Boss Ray? Yung 27, did you feel na parang you're not prepared? So,
No,
if you will looking back 1994, medyo matagal na yun. Pero how was it? Baka lang
yeah,
makwento mo sa amin.
yeah. So at that time, I wish I could look older because I want them to take me seriously. Because again, when I entered the room, it seems that they thought that I got lost. No, so I was in the
Oh.
wrong meeting, attending those industry meetings. No, so but the learning at this time was really um, uh, in setting up an organization. You have to establish the right foundation, especially if you want the company to stay long. I mean, that's the vision. You are not there for short runs, but you're there for the long run. You have to start the right foundation, teach them the right concepts, teach them the right principles, and make sure that it's a very transparent and also a fun organization, as what you mentioned earlier. It's a
Oh.
learning organization, actually. That's how you adapt to the different circumstances.
Pero kayo
um,
po, Boss Ray, curious kami, what kept you strong? Kasi alam nyo po, you're just 27 years old, then you're just assigned in a country na kakabukas lang. Medyo alam naman natin, communist pa, di ba? Nakakatakot. What kept you strong? What were your
well,
focus? Ano yung motivation mo during
Well,
that
well, well,
time?
the backbone really, what kept me strong is the family support. This is what I learned when you're in a strange place that you don't have relatives.
Yeah.
All you have is your family. They're the only one that you know, and that's when I really learned the value of keeping the family close and really. I don't want to use the word working, but it's really keeping them as part of your life. I mean, and one thing that keeps me going there is unity of life. I mean, when I say unity of life, you have to be consistent. What you do inside your home is also what you do inside the office. because otherwise, if you start a compartmentalized life, a different personality, then at some point in time you will be treating your work as your family and your family as your work, which is it's not gonna last for a long time. So
Hindi
to have that
sustainable.
unity of life.
Oo.
So
Boss Ray, yung 27 years old ka, you were assigned there in Vietnam, setting up everything. I'm quite sure there were a lot of challenges. How did you
yes,
handle them? Para doon sa mga nagsisimula ng kanilang new career, siguro they feel na parang very daunting ang task. Ano ba yung mga pinagdaanan mo? Ano yung pinaka-biggest challenges and how did you overcome them?
yes. As first of all is cultural. So you've got to learn the people, the people that you are going to work with. So basically, there are similarities, but there are also difference in how things gets done. No? So second is um, making sure that you have established the right structure and system. Again, you have to be clear about what you want, and then the structure follows strategy. Remember, this is very important. The structure follows the strategy, and then once you have the structure, you have to get the right people, and it's not just that, but these people have to sit in the right seats. Otherwise, you won't be able to get the optimum level. And then finally is the culture, which is what we mentioned earlier. It's got to be a learning organization always. You have to allow learning. You have to allow people to get to know things, learn by themselves, but provide some boundaries so that you make sure that they don't destroy the enterprise you're building,
Correct,
because
correct.
serious which serious problems like regulatory and legal issues. So make sure that it is very clear the arena that they where they can perform.
All
So
right.
that's very clear. The strategy, the structure, the people that you hire is very important, and the culture that you are trying to. Culture is not built overnight. It takes time
True,
to
true.
build the culture, because
Mm-mm.
that's culture is defined as the way of life.
Correct. Yes.
Yes.
Sa next slide, I think nandito yung kanyang family.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about your family, Sir Ray? Ito
Yes.
yung inspiration mo eh. Ito yung sinasabi mo
Correct.
na what kept you
Correct.
going.
Yes. Wherever I go, I mean, this is it. This is what we have been working for. I also learned a lot from them, and it's part of growing up. So the family. There's got to be really consistency. So they're very important. Now they are all grown ups. In fact, my second tour of duty in Vietnam, which was from 2015 to 2020,
Wow, 5 years
it,
din.
all the kids are not with me. So my wife just
Oh.
shuttles back and forth. So, but the good thing is now you have free communication, FaceTime. So now you can see them every night. Sometimes we chat and then we sleep, and then when we wake up, we found out that the FaceTime is still open.
Naka-on pa.
Yes, yes.
Sige nga,
So so so
so
you have to
sino
spend
talaga
time.
inspiration, boss?
Yes.
Ito po, saan po ba ito?
So actually, during my time with Me Johnson, they asked me to finish an executive education for 3 years in Columbia University. So this is part of my learning. Then getting to know new concepts, new things. So again, you should not be afraid to learn and new things. So talagang what I
Patuloy
learned
kung
here
talagang maging successful.
became a very valuable tool in my leadership and management style.
Oo.
In
And
fact,
Boss Ray, para
in
lang
fact,
alam
up
doon
to
sa
now,
mga
I use that
nanonood,
tool.
I learned
Hmm.
management and strategy a lot from Boss Ray. I was reading, but I also had the experience, direct experience, seeing him on how to lead. Kaya very inspired din ako na iba pa rin pala talaga pag may medyo continuous learning, may alam rin talaga. I mean, kami mga followers, medyo, ito competent, di ba? So nakita
Yes.
ko yan kasi nag-work po ako kay Boss Ray.
And I'm sure you remember that at that time, we really did double the business in 5 years.
Yes, we did. It
We
was
really did
fun and
double.
we
And
learned a
and
lot,
and
Boss Ray.
and who's my favorite? Who's my favorite character? Do you remember? E equals MC squared, right?
Oo
Albert
nga, no?
Einstein.
Oo!
Because if
My
I
gosh!
dovetail, if I dovetail to your talk earlier, insanity. Remember, that's my favorite.
Oo.
Insanity is
Doing the
keeping
same,
doing the same mistakes
mistakes
and
over and over.
expecting different results. So it has
Mm-mm.
something to do also with what you're talking earlier. It's
Mm-mm.
fine to commit mistakes, but don't do it again.
Correct. Oo.
Then you expect and then you expect a better result.
Correct.
So
You're right.
this so I think for the listeners, please also try to remember what Albert Einstein mentioned about the definition of insanity. Insanity is doing the
The
same
same
mistake
things
over
over and
and over
over.
again and expecting better
Different
results.
outcome. Mm-mm.
So 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 if you did the mistake once, that's fine. But if you repeat it, then I think we have a problem.
Correct. You're right. Agree with you very much. And
Yes,
you won't grow as well, di ba? Hindi
yes,
ka rin mag-grow by stopping
yes.
correcting the mistake. Boss Ray, you chose this picture. Tell us about these pictures.
Yeah, no, it's about lifelong learning. So I basically grew up also with my family. I learned a lot while while having this kind of trips with them, and we also learn. I also learned to know more about them, and I value this. And in fact, whatever I learned from them, I also apply it, and I also do it in work at work. So basically, again, I want to emphasize that you have to be consistent. You should have whatever you do in the house, you should also do in the workplace, and whatever your principles that you apply in at work should be the same principles that you actually applied at home.
Mm-mm. Yun
So
talaga yung pinaka na yung sinishare mo sa amin, Boss Ray. Opo.
Yeah, ever since, and I'm sure you remember that, Jeff. I'm very particular about family
Integrity.
life, right?
And integrity.
And integrity. So, how do you start integrity? You start with your family.
Agree,
In fact,
agree.
remember the story also I gave you about on a Friday morning when I was about to go to work. Then this question from my youngest daughter at the time is, why is Friday called a Friday? Oops, for me that's a learning. And I made an excuse. Remember, I will answer that to you when I get home tonight because I'm because I have to research.
Okay.
Which Friday called the Friday? But these are small things, but these are actually big questions. So here, the picture that you see on screen is part of the responsibility of growing the business is to find new areas for partnerships, cooperation. So here, I'm signing a contract with a new partner for the company in 2016. So it's a big
I see.
one.
Wow.
It's a totally different new business, not totally different, but it's an adjacent business that can help us grow aside from organic growth. So
All right.
this is Vietnam.
All right, next slide, Jazz. Tingnan natin kung, ayan, how about
Now
this
this is
one?
right now when I retired from the corporate life. Right now I'm engaged in KeepWell Telehealth. So this is very recent. This was just last week.
I
We
see.
went live. We went live February 8th, but February 18, we signed a contract with Mary Mediatrix that we will be their telehealth partner in that hospital. So here with me is the CEO of KeepWell, which is Gilbert Garcia, and the CFO is Seb Romberg. And on the other side is Mary Mediatrix, which is basically one of the progressive hospitals in the south, no, in Batangas. So that's Dr. Bobby Magsino and Miss Rosel, who is the strategic and corporate planning executive for Merrimack. So you can imagine also what we are doing now. We're bringing innovation in terms of telehealth of the business. So this is just one of the things that we recently did, and as part of continuous learning, this is something new for me. KeepWell telehealth. It's no longer pharmaceutical or nutritional, but it's still about it's about um, taking good care of the health with the technology, with the help of technology.
Oo.
Good.
Sir Ray, may nag-comment, sabi ni Estrella dyan, comment niya, sana maging successful din kami katulad mo. Sir Ray,
Yes,
siguro gusto rin malaman ng mga viewers kasi I'm quite sure there were tough moments, di ba, in
yes,
leadership. And
yes,
can you just walk us through, ano yung siguro yung mga, I know the turning point, one of the turning point was you having a baby at the age of 20. Ano ba
yes,
yung, kung yung something that you're comfortable to share or maski in general,
yes,
ano yung mga
yes,
leadership challenge na dinaanan mo and
yes.
somehow it helped shape the person who you are right now?
I think the real question right now is not about perfectionism or being perfect, but it's about making the right choice, right? In your circumstance. So when during that time, I really wanted to become a doctor because that's my dream. That's my parents' dream. But I decided not to because I have to build a family and I have to be responsible. So I decided, okay, then I will go into pharmaceutical. I became a rep. So it's about deciding. It's about making those decisions. And I know that life is short. I also learned about this because I was asked by the class, my high school class in LaSalle, to be the one to give them the talk, no, for this batch. So I also gave this. Life is short. We don't have to worry about fearing life because it's also short, right? You
Yes.
don't have to
Yes,
worry
sir.
about making those mistakes as long as you don't repeat it and as
Yes.
long as you learn from your mistakes. So life is
Agree.
short. In fact, right now I always keep telling my friends, my wife, when before we go to sleep at night, ang bilis ng araw. Now it's almost end of February. Ang bilis. Life is short. I remember I was just 27 years old. Now I'm this old. I mean, look guys, for those of you listening, life is short. Akala nyo lang nainip kayo, pero life is short. So make the most out of it. Okay? Second, life is about making choices. So every time actually every day in our lives we make choices. Ano ba yung kakainin ko? Tinapay or rice? As simple as that. So life is about making choices. Ganun din pag nagnegosyo po kayo or pag nagdesisyon kayo dyan sa mga company pinagtatrabahuhan nyo. Whenever you make a decision on one side, meron niyang opportunity cost. So kung ito yung pinili mo, may opportunity cost yan. Eh, paano kung dito ko nilagay yung pera ko, dito ako nag-invest, anong mangyayari?
Correct.
So life is about making choices. But again, don't be afraid to make a choice. Because I'm sure, bago kayo gumawa ng choice, pinag-isipan nyo na rin yon. Ano yung mga consequences? Okay? So, the third one is, minention ko na, life is about consistency. You have to be consistent in your family life and in your work life and in your social life. You should remain to be consistent because that will make life simple. Imaginein mo, maikli na nga yung buhay mo,
Mm-mm.
ang dami ka ng choices na ginagawa everyday, pero ang gulo ng buhay mo dahil iba yung buhay mo sa bahay, iba yung buhay mo sa trabaho, iba yung buhay mo in your social life. No, that's just make it very simple. So, and then lastly, this is the golden rule that I learned from my math teacher. Actually, nung first year high school ho ako, problema ko yung math. Pero simula nung nakinig ako doon sa teacher kong ito, isa lang yung golden rule niya, pati sa algebraic expression. Actually, in-apply niya ito. The golden rule is, what you want others do unto you, do unto others. Ganon din ho yun. Simula nung in-apply ko yon, naintindihan ko ho yung math. yung algebraic expression, geometry, pati sa nung high school nag-pre-calculus, siya yung nagturo sa akin. And then as early as third year, nakaka-compete na ho ako isinasama na ho ako sa math contest. So ganun ho yung transformation, ganun ho yung
Bumukas
learning.
yung mind.
By just applying those principles. Actually hindi naman yung technique but yung in-apply mo lang yung principle. What you do on one side of the formula, 'di ba, may equal sign sa gitna, you also do to the other side of the formula. And that is the golden rule also. You'll also see this in the Bible, 'di ba? So, and then ito 'yon. Three virtues. Simplicity, because life is short, don't make it complicated. Humility, because you know that you won't make the right choices all the time, and therefore you learn. So, tama-tama yan dun sa sinabi mo kanina, Jeff. And third is hope, that tomorrow will always be better than what it is now. But again, that better tomorrow depends on the choices that you make. So if you continuously make poor decisions, wrong decisions, even though you know it's bad, then definitely your life will not improve. Okay, so don't commit the same mistakes again. Then, which I will now summarize. Hope that tomorrow is better. Faith that you are not alone. You have your family, you have your support group, and of course you have the supernatural boss up there who will always take care of you. And charity, the more you give, the more you receive. Because if you don't give, if you don't help others, if you don't have that charity, that cup will not overflow. You're keeping it there. So it's better to give, because now there will be space for you to learn more things, and definitely to aspire for more new things. No, in other words, there's space. There's always gonna be space if you keep on giving also. That's why when Jeff invited me to talk, by all means, because part of what Jeff is doing is giving something that can inspire you, at the same time maybe learn these concepts and principles in life. And then make the most out of your limited time. Make it count. Be responsible for your choice. Avoid victim mentality. Hindi nakatapos, or ako hindi mahina sa math. Avoid that victim mentality. That's what's gonna destroy you, and that's suppressing your potential. In fact, every day when you wake up, that's why I mentioned that hope that tomorrow is better. Every time that you wake up, tomorrow I will improve. I will learn new things tomorrow. And I will keep on piling up those new things that I learned today. And every day, by the way, is a new beginning. Again, to what Jeff mentioned, every day you can start anew.
Terrific.
You don't you have it's like remember I saw this in the movie of Sylvester Stallone, yung boxer. So one of those Rocky sequel. So it's not how hard you fall down, but it's how great you rise up again. So definitely in life, it's not perfect. You will fall. But what counts is how you rise up again, and how you take responsibility for those decisions that you have made. So yun yung nakikita ko na importante sa mga gustong magnegosyo, or even sa personal life nila kung gusto nilang i-improve, because it's not only about business, but it's about life. It's about life. There's no compartmental life. It's about just having one kind of life, and that's the consistency. So
Thank you for that reminder, sir.
And then what they see in your social life, they see in your work life, they see in your family life, then there you go. As a leader, that's how you will lead better.
All right.
If they see that you're consistent.
May mga nagko-comment dito. Thank you raw, Sir Ray, for sharing your learning. Pero sir, before tayong, kasi ang dami mo nang nabigay na tip, we are so thankful, ang daming magagandang wisdom behind those things na tinuro mo. Isingit ko lang yung sa technical support ng Carl Balita. Sayang kasi kawawa naman yung question ni Sir Jose Garcia. Tinanong niya dito, sir, before we leave, before we leave the podcast. Tinanong kanya kasi sayang naman bigyan na natin siyang freebie. Kaya tanong kanya, sir, meron daw siyang startup. Baka meron ka raw mabigay na tips sa kanya para sa longevity ng kanyang company. Baka naman for 30 seconds to 1 minute, and then I'll give you to close out the message na lang magbigay ka na lang parting message. Sir, tip muna doon.
So here's what I can share. When you talk about long term, it's about strategy, right? Strategy is equals to leadership times communication. So leadership means your vision, your connection to your people, because leadership is about inspiration, right? That's strategy, that's long term. And then finally is if you have the right resources and the right amount of resources that you have placed in the right place. So that's how you do strategy. Again, the reason why I use strategy because the question is about long term.
Yes.
And strategy is about long term. So strategy is leadership plus your decisions about resources.
All right. So, yan si Juliet, sabi niya, making the right choice. Ayan, kino-quote ka na, Sir Rey. Sir Rey, parting message before we allow you to promote your business. Parting message sa ating mga viewers. There will be a lot of manonood ng reruns neto. Usually nasa ibang time zone kasi.
Yes. So quickly, more on the principles. So and concepts. Life is short. So don't fret about making those mistakes, but don't repeat those mistakes, and make sure that you have learned from those mistakes and apply what you learned. So enjoy life, make the most out of it. Life is about making choices, okay? Sorry, about life is short, please don't complicate your life. Live a simple, humble life, and also make sure that your life is consistent in the different spectrums of your life, okay? Or different compartments of your life. It has to be consistent. So because life is short, don't complicate it. Life is about making choices, di ba? Yan yung sinabi ko. So every time you make a choice, look, you made a choice, and therefore be ready for the consequences. Now, don't become a victim of the choices that you made. That is very important. You have to learn from those choices because the consequences, you should be brave enough, bold enough, and courageous enough to face the consequences because that's the choice. And then take it as a learning situation, as Jeff, what you mentioned also earlier. And then third is, I mentioned about life. Life is about consistency. Again, I keep on repeating it. It's very important because what you do at home, you should do with your friends, you should do with your workmates, and that's it. Your life will become simple and become consistent. You don't need to worry about hiding anything. So that's what I can mention.
Thank you, Boss Rey. We are so happy to have you here as our guest. On that note, magtrabaho muna tayo. Mayroon ka pa yatang isi-share na screen about the business that you are in before we close the podcast.
Right. Thank you, Jeff. So as you mentioned, right now we have set up a telehealth enterprise, which is basically to solve or to provide healthcare solutions, especially during the pandemic. But this is not just for the pandemic, but this is here to stay for a long time. So let me share.
Ayan, so baka rin may vacancy ka. Boss Rey, marami na nanonood ng ating mga from Carl Balita, yung mga healthcare graduates.
Yes, what is a KeepWell? What is KeepWell Telehealth? It's about an integrated platform for telemedicine, meaning to say the patients and the doctors can do online interaction, online treatment, online
Galing.
diagnostics.
Mhm.
So everything is integrated. So what does integrated mean? Okay, so for those of you who wants to go into the platform, this is the address or website address, no?
Ayan
So
po. Opo.
www.clinic. And then what happens is you will be led into this. So that's the reason why I mentioned, because in what does integrated platform means is there's teleconsultation. So especially for the high risk, you don't have to go out of your house. You can already do teleconsultation with your doctors. And by the way, here you can connect with the doctors that you know.
All right.
Electronic payments is already available. So pwede yung
Yun ang maganda.
over the counter, yung over the counter, I don't have to mention the name because over the counter in those convenience stores, di ba?
Galing.
You can also use your credit card, GCash, Paymaya, PayPal. So
Hmm.
everything is there available. And then, as an output for the teleconsultation, the doctor can provide you electronic prescription or e-pharmacy and prescription fulfillment. They can also do already lab request online, and whatever medical records that will be produced, it will already be stored in the cloud storage, and the patient can access this anytime and use this anytime. So it's an integrated platform. It's convenient, especially nowadays, and it's easy to use. You don't have to go out of the house. No more traffic. No more hassle of
Terrific.
waiting long queue
No no more
in the
waiting.
hospital. Yes. So
So,
the contact number is here. So yun, for assistance in registration for those of you interested to know more, these are the contact details. So right now
telehealth, Boss Ray, telehealth. Can you just repeat, sir, the website para for those who are interested for online consultation?
yes. So it's www.keepwell.clinic.
KeepWell.clinic. All right. So
Yes.
on that note, Boss Ray, thank you so much. I'm so happy to have here with you, and we look forward for another engagement. Ingat po sa inyo. Thank you, sir.
Yes. Thank you then, Jeff. Thank you.
God
Uh,
bless, sir. Naputol si Boss Ray. So, for the meantime, medyo overtime na po kasi tayo. Uh, may I call on our marketing to announce the winner?
Ayan. May nag-comment po dito si Sir John Estrella. Ang comment niya po is, "Salamat sa mga tips, sir. Relate much, sir. Sir, dati takot na takot po ako magkamali, pero ngayon, di na kasi part siya ng learning process."
Pero
Bale
may
nanalo
reminder si Boss Ray, kailangan learn from the mistakes din.
yes po. Then nanalo po siya ng ating hand pump, Gio.
Congratulations.
Then para po sa ating second winner, si Ma'am Mary Grace Mabato. Ang comment niya po is, "Natutunan ko this topic, di lahat ng tao talaga perfect. Kailangan talaga natin i-accept na minsan nagkakamali din tayo. And salamat sa tips, sir." Siya po yung nanalo ng ating helmet mountain bike.
Right,
Yan.
congratulations. Ano pangalan niya, ma'am?
Si Ma'am Mary Grace Mabato.
All right, congratulations. Thank you for joining.
Then for our lady bike, nanalo po si Ma'am Mariel Acosta. Sabi niya po is, "Learning insight today. Tonight podcast helped me a lot to remove my illusions of perfection. I have a small business and I was driven by fear and the thought of, what if kung lugi ako? Likewise, in let 2022, what if di ako papasa? However, process orientation saves my organization skills as a right-handed brainer. As a future let taker and a successful businesswoman, I will start looking at my projection rather than my illusion of perfection, and I will never hesitate to face my fear. Yun po, every weight. Yun, sir. Siya
Sino
po
ba
yung,
yun?
siya po yung nanalo ng ating lady bike.
Ano pangalan?
Si Ma'am Mariel Acosta, sir.
Alright, tama. Nabanggit mo na. Thank you. Congratulations. And that's our episode. I hope you enjoyed a lot kasi mahirap din makakuha ng mga ganyang guests. So, Boss Ray, medyo naputol ata tayo. Pero we thank you so much for giving us your leadership tips. Kasi, I mean, he led a country, a company set up in a different country. Talagang napakatindi na ng kanyang leadership skills and competencies. We thank you so much, sir. And do sa mga nanonood, thank you for watching. This is Jeff Chua again. We are signing off. On Monday, meron po tayong podcast. And next Friday at Carl Balita, we also have some special guests doon. Thank you again and good night.